Imagine standing beside a machine so enormous that the ground begins to shake long before it even reaches you. These colossal locomotives were not just trains. They were moving giants of steel, built to pull impossible loads across mountains, deserts, and frozen landscapes with unstoppable power. Some became legends of engineering, while others were so massive and extreme that they looked almost unreal on the rails. And as this video goes on, each locomotive becomes bigger, more powerful, and more unbelievable than the last, especially the #1 giant that changed railroad history forever. Fast, elegant, and incredibly powerful, the Norfolk and Western 611 became one of the most legendary steam locomotives ever built in America. Introduced in 1950 by the Norfolk and Western Railway, this streamlined giant was designed to haul heavy passenger trains at high speed across long distances without sacrificing power or reliability. Built with a massive 484-wheel configuration, the locomotive delivered nearly 5,000 horsepower, giving it the strength to climb mountain grades while maintaining impressive speed. Reaching up to 177 kilometers per hour, the 611 was considered one of the fastest steam locomotives of its time, combining raw force with remarkable engineering precision. Stretching over 109 feet in length with its tender attached and weighing more than 490 tons, the locomotive commanded attention everywhere it traveled. Its sleek, black, streamlined body, polished driving rods, and roaring exhaust gave it an aggressive yet elegant appearance that stood out from ordinary steam engines. Unlike many freight-focused locomotives of the era, the 611 was built for speed and smooth passenger service, pulling luxury trains through the Appalachian Mountains with unmatched confidence. During its years in operation, the locomotive became a symbol of American rail innovation at a time when steam technology was reaching its absolute peak. Even after retirement, the 611 refused to fade into history, eventually returning to operation through extensive restoration efforts that amazed railway fans around the world. Today, the thunderous sound of its wheels and the towering steam clouds behind it continue to draw huge crowds wherever it runs. Watching the Norfolk and Western 611 in motion feels less like observing a machine and more like witnessing the golden age of railroads come roaring back to life. The pride of Japan's steam railway era, the Yamaguchi D51200 was built to handle some of the country's toughest rail routes with raw strength and reliability. Introduced by Japan National Railways during the late 1930s, this legendary locomotive became one of the most recognizable steam engines ever produced in Japan. Designed with a powerful 282-wheel configuration, the D51200 combined stability, traction, and endurance, making it ideal for hauling heavy freight through mountainous terrain and rural rail lines. Beneath its massive steel boiler, the locomotive generated nearly 1,300 horsepower, giving it enough pulling force to transport coal, military cargo, and industrial supplies across long distances. Stretching over 65 feet in length and weighing more than 120 tons with its tender attached, the D51200 looked enormous as it thundered through stations wrapped in clouds of steam and smoke. Despite its heavy size, the locomotive could reach speeds of around 85 kilometers per hour, an impressive achievement for a freight engine built during that era. Its bold black body, giant driving wheels, and deep mechanical exhaust created a dramatic presence that railway workers and passengers never forgot. During World War II and the difficult years that followed, these locomotives became essential to Japan's transportation network, operating tirelessly under extreme pressure and harsh weather conditions. The sound of its whistle echoing through mountain valleys became a symbol of industrial power and national resilience. Even decades after retirement, the Yamaguchi D51200 continues to fascinate railway enthusiasts with its timeless engineering and nostalgic charm. Watching this steam giant move down the tracks feels less like seeing a train and more like witnessing a powerful machine from another age come back to life. Elegant yet incredibly powerful for its time, the MAV 242.001 remains one of the most fascinating steam locomotives ever built in Europe. Introduced in the 1930s by Mavag for the Hungarian state railways, this high-speed locomotive was designed to deliver fast and smooth passenger service across major rail routes. Built with a sleek 444 wheel configuration, the MAV 242.001 combined stability, speed, and engineering precision in a way few steam engines of its era could achieve. Beneath its streamlined body, the locomotive produced nearly 2,500 horsepower, allowing it to reach impressive speeds of up to 120 kilometers per hour while maintaining remarkable efficiency. Measuring over 80 feet in length and weighing more than 150 tons with its tender attached, the locomotive carried a refined but commanding presence on the tracks. Its aerodynamic design, polished metal details, and distinctive streamlined casing made it look more futuristic than most steam locomotives of the 1930s. Unlike bulky freight engines built purely for power, the MAV 242.001 was created to represent speed, elegance, and national engineering ambition. Passengers were often amazed by the locomotive's smooth ride and quiet stability, even at high speed. Although only a limited number of these locomotives were produced, they quickly became symbols of Hungary's railway innovation before World War II changed the future of European rail transport. Decades later, the surviving locomotive still attracts railway enthusiasts who admire its rare combination of beauty and performance. Watching the MAV 242.001 glide down the tracks feels less like seeing an old steam train and more like witnessing a moving masterpiece from the golden age of rail travel. Powerful, reliable, and built for speed, the Milwaukee Road 261 became one of the most respected steam locomotives in American railroad history. Originally introduced in 1944 by the American Locomotive Company for the Milwaukee Road Railroad, this massive engine was designed to pull heavy passenger trains across long Midwestern routes with remarkable efficiency. Featuring a strong 484-wheel configuration, the locomotive generated nearly 4,700 horsepower, giving it the strength to maintain high speeds while hauling enormous loads. Despite weighing more than 460 tons with its tender attached, the 261 could reach speeds of up to 160 kilometers per hour, making it one of the fastest and most capable steam engines of its era. Stretching over 110 feet in length, the locomotive carried an imposing presence with its towering boiler, giant driving wheels, and polished steel rods moving in perfect rhythm. Its streamlined black body and roaring exhaust created a dramatic sight as it raced across open landscapes, trailing massive clouds of steam behind it. During the final years of the steam era, the Milwaukee Road 261 became known for its smooth performance, reliability, and ability to operate under demanding schedules. After retirement, many believed locomotives like this would never run again, but decades later, the 261 was fully restored and returned to active excursion service. Today, it continues to captivate rail enthusiasts across America, proving that classic steam power still has the ability to inspire modern audiences. The deep whistle, shaking ground, and thunderous sound of the locomotive in motion make every appearance unforgettable. Seeing the Milwaukee Road 261 charging down the tracks feels less like watching a preserved machine and more like witnessing a living symbol of America's railroad golden age. Beautiful, fast, and incredibly powerful for its era, the Southern Pacific 444-9 became one of the most iconic steam locomotives in American railroad history. Built in 1941 by the Lima Locomotive Works for the Southern Pacific Railroad, this streamlined giant was designed to haul luxury passenger trains at high speed across the western United States. Featuring a massive 484-wheel configuration, the locomotive produced nearly 5,500 horsepower, giving it the strength to maintain impressive speed while pulling heavy passenger cars over long distances. Despite weighing more than 450 tons with its tender attached, the 444-9 could reach speeds of up to 175 kilometers per hour, making it one of the fastest steam locomotives of its time. Stretching over 110 feet in length, the locomotive carried a sleek and aerodynamic appearance that perfectly matched the golden age of streamliner trains. Its famous orange, red, and black paint scheme made it stand out instantly, while the thunderous exhaust and piercing whistle gave it a dramatic presence on the rails. Originally built for the legendary daylight passenger service, the locomotive became a symbol of speed, elegance, and American engineering ambition. During its years in operation, passengers admired not only its performance, but also the smooth and luxurious experience it delivered across scenic rail routes. Even after the steam era ended, the Southern Pacific 444-9 refused to disappear into history, later returning to excursion service and becoming one of the most celebrated preserved steam locomotives in the world. Today, crowds still gather to witness this giant machine in motion, surrounded by clouds of steam and the roar of mechanical power. Watching the Southern Pacific 444-9 race down the tracks feels less like seeing an old train and more like reliving the golden age of American rail travel. Massive, powerful, and built to conquer the mountains of the American West, the Union Pacific Challenger 3985 became one of the most legendary steam locomotives ever operated by the Union Pacific Railroad. Introduced in the 1940s by the American Locomotive Company, this giant machine was designed to haul heavy freight and passenger trains across steep mountain grades without losing speed or traction. Built with a massive 4664 wheel configuration, the Challenger 3985 produced nearly 6,000 horsepower, giving it extraordinary pulling power for long-distance rail operations. Measuring over 122 feet in length with its tender attached and weighing more than 1.1 million pounds, the locomotive carried an overwhelming presence on the tracks. Despite its enormous size, the Challenger could reach speeds of up to 110 kilometers per hour, an impressive achievement for a locomotive built primarily for heavy hauling. Its articulated design allowed the giant engine to navigate curves more smoothly while maintaining stability under extreme loads. With its towering black boiler, giant driving wheels, and thunderous exhaust, the 3985 looked and sounded like a moving industrial monster crossing the American frontier. During its years of operation, the locomotive became known for its reliability, endurance, and ability to move enormous freight trains through difficult terrain with remarkable efficiency. Decades after the steam era ended, Union Pacific restored the 3985 to excursion service, turning it into one of the largest operating steam locomotives in the world for many years. Crowds across the United States gathered to witness the incredible sight of this steam giant roaring down the tracks surrounded by clouds of smoke and steam. The powerful whistle, shaking ground, and rhythmic pounding of its wheels created an experience that few modern machines could match. Watching the Union Pacific Challenger 3985 in motion feels less like seeing a train and more like witnessing the unstoppable force of America's railroad golden age come back to life. Massive, loud, and built with overwhelming power, the Union Pacific Centennial 6936 EMD-DDA-40X stands as one of the biggest diesel locomotives ever created. Introduced in 1969 by Electromotive Division for the Union Pacific Railroad, this giant machine was designed to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Transcontinental Railroad while delivering unmatched freight hauling performance. Built with a colossal DD wheel configuration and powered by two massive diesel engines, the Centennial generated an astonishing 6,600 horsepower, making it the most powerful single-unit diesel locomotive in the world at the time. Stretching nearly 99 feet in length and weighing over 250 tons, the DDA-40X looked more like a moving industrial fortress than a traditional locomotive. Despite its enormous size, the locomotive could reach speeds of up to 145 kilometers per hour, allowing it to haul heavy freight across long American rail corridors with incredible efficiency. Its long, yellow body, giant radiator sections, and thunderous engine noise made it instantly recognizable wherever it operated. Unlike smaller locomotives that often required multiple units to handle demanding loads, the Centennial was built to deliver extreme pulling power from a single machine. During its years of service, it became a symbol of American diesel engineering at a time when railroads were pushing machines to their absolute limits. The deep roar of its twin engines and the vibration it created on the tracks gave the locomotive a legendary reputation among train enthusiasts. Even decades later, Union Pacific 6936 remains one of the last operating DDA-40X locomotives, continuing to amaze crowds with its enormous scale and historic significance. Watching this diesel giant move across the rails feels less like seeing a train and more like witnessing raw mechanical power unleashed on steel tracks. The undisputed giant of American steam power, the Union Pacific Big Boy 4014, is one of the largest and most powerful locomotives ever built in human history. Originally introduced in 1941 by the American Locomotive Company for the Union Pacific Railroad, the Big Boy was engineered to haul enormous freight trains across the steep Rocky Mountains without the assistance of helper engines. Built with a gigantic 4884 wheel configuration, this steam monster generated nearly 7,000 horsepower, delivering incredible pulling force across long mountain routes. Stretching over 132 feet in length with its tender attached and weighing more than 1.2 million pounds, the 4014 looked less like a locomotive and more like a moving steel fortress. Despite its unbelievable size, the Big Boy could still reach speeds of up to 130 kilometers per hour, an astonishing achievement for a machine of this scale. Its articulated frame allowed the locomotive to handle curves more smoothly while maintaining exceptional traction and stability under heavy loads. The massive black boiler, giant driving wheels, and thunderous steam exhaust created a presence so powerful that people could feel the ground shake as it passed. During the World War II, locomotives like the Big Boy played a critical role in transporting military supplies, tanks, coal, and industrial cargo across the United States. Only 25 Big Boys were ever built, making them some of the rarest giants of the steam era. Decades after retirement, Union Pacific shocked the world by fully restoring Locomotive 4014 in 2019, bringing the legendary machine back to life as the largest operating steam locomotive on Earth. Today, thousands of railway fans gather just to witness this mechanical giant moving once again under its own power. The roar of its steam cylinders, the blast of its whistle, and the enormous clouds of smoke behind it create a scene that feels almost unreal. Watching Union Pacific Big Boy 4014 in motion is not just seeing a train, it is witnessing one of the greatest engineering achievements ever placed on rails. From towering steam monsters to unstoppable diesel and electric giants, these locomotives proved that rail engineering could push far beyond what most people thought was possible. Even decades later, the sound, size, and raw power of these machines continue to fascinate railway fans all around the world. And honestly, after seeing giants like these in motion, it becomes easy to understand why some locomotives became true legends of the rails.